Hello, this is Linda Cheek, and welcome to this presentation on fibromyalgia, which I call the disease of the 21st century. This will be a simple introduction into the cause and cure of fibromyalgia. The more complete presentation is available on a DVD on my website, 7pillarstotalhealth.com. My other website, doctorsofcourage.org, is information pertaining to the attacks on doctors today that treat pain and have found themselves the target of the United States government through no fault of their own except compassion for their patients. I have several important DVDs available on my website or in production. They are The Real Cause of Drug Abuse, The 7 Steps to Healing, Nutrition for Healing, Fibromyalgia, Prolotherapy, Homeopathy, Auricular Therapy, and the 7 Pillars of Health. What is fibromyalgia? It cannot be explained by conventional medicine, nor can it be cured with pharmaceuticals. However, the good news is there is an explanation and a cure. Fibromyalgia is a long-term, often disabling disease that affects up to 1 in 10 women and 1 in 60 men. It is a chronic pain disease. The pain is widespread, total body, not just limited to the 18 points which were identified in 1990 to diagnose fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is also a stress disorder, and it is an autoimmune disease. That means the body's immune system is attacking the body itself. The common symptoms of fibromyalgia are widespread pain and tenderness, chronic extreme fatigue, weakness, which is holding something for a while, not just the initial pickup, poor sleep, and brain fog, which is problems with short-term memory and concentration. Now, what causes all of these widely different symptoms? Well, first, refer back to the 7 steps to healing and answer the question, why do people get sick? Toxicity. What is supposed to happen when we are exposed to a toxin? In a healthy immune response, you have a challenge to the immune system. It can be dietary, intoxication from toxins going into the body through autointoxication or heterointoxication, psychological factors like stress, parasites, bacteria, yeasts, and viruses, vaccinations, and medications. When these challenges to the immune system come into the body builds an effective fever or sets up an inflammatory response to destroy the toxins. The toxins are then excreted and the body returns to a state of health. But when the immune response is weakened, then the challenge to the immune system does not create an effective fever. So the ineffective fever or inflammation does not break down the toxins. The toxins therefore have to be deposited into the cells, and this sets up a disease process. The disease eventually degenerates the cells and sets up an immune process of rheumatoid conditions, cancer, or heart disease. Basically, fibromyalgia is caused by an accumulation of toxins. Disease is characterized by 3 processes. Excretion of toxins is blocked. Toxins are deposited into the cells, and the tissues are degenerated by the toxins. The normal mechanisms that the body uses to destroy toxins, as mentioned already, is temperature or fever and inflammation. If fever and inflammation are insufficient, then the body will start accumulating and packaging the toxins and put them away in the cells. Now, how does an autoimmunity develop? Think of the particles inside the cell as belonging to two categories, like the sides of a seesaw, self on one side and non-self on the other. When a healthy baby is born, the cells should only contain self. But as toxins are taken in and stored in cells, more non-self is in the cell. But as long as there's more self than non-self, that is, the seesaw is heavier on the self side, the immune system will recognize and remove the non-self. But with our conventional medicine concepts, we don't allow the immune system to develop normally. As life continues and the cells become filled with more toxins, eventually the seesaw is balanced even. Then the immune system is having a hard time telling the difference between self and non-self. It is at this point, when the self and toxins are balanced, that the body turns a corner. And suddenly, like wham upside the head, chronic fatigue syndrome strikes. And finally, when the toxins outnumber the self particles, the seesaw is now flipped. The immune system now thinks that the cell is foreign and attacks it. And that's an autoimmune reaction. Our body uses non-life-threatening infectious disease, like chickenpox, to teach the immune system what is non-self. But through vaccinations and our over-control of exposure to non-pathogenic organisms, we are interfering with the development of the immune system. Just look at the current childhood immunization schedule. A child will receive 48 immunizations before age 6. 38 of those are before age 4. Now, the immune system isn't even developed until age 4 to be able to distinguish self from non-self. So what does that mean to the developing child? The immune system loses the ability to distinguish self from non-self. So what does that cause? Allergies, autoimmune diseases, and autism? Probably, in spite of conventional experts declaring the contrary. The latest name given to chronic fatigue syndrome by conventional medicine is myalgic encephalomyelitis, or ME. Now, that term is translated as muscle pain with inflammation of the brain and spinal cord. Give me a break. If they can't come up with a cause, it's going to simply be a nerve problem. Even though this term is being widely accepted, there is no evidence-based studies to support it. Now, my theory on chronic fatigue syndrome is that it is caused by mitochondrial dysfunction brought on by the toxin accumulation in the cell. It is the mitochondria in the cell that produces our energy molecules, or ATP. If the mitochondria are living in a toxic soup, they can't produce the energy molecules as needed by the body. Now, what identifiable conditions predispose a person to fibromyalgia and other autoimmune conditions? Well, unresolved stress, which is in blue, is a condition that is generally out of control of the person. Now, the conditions in yellow, which are dietary, are completely in the control of the person once they know the 7 steps to healing. And they are poor digestion, leaky gut syndrome, or GI permeability, a depletion of nutrients and antioxidants, and then the red conditions, which are the result of the others, are the accumulation of toxins, which lead to immune system overload. And that's fibromyalgia, an internal war going on in the cells throughout the body. So now let's talk about where toxins come from, because if you can control the toxins entering the body or being produced by the body, you can prevent or treat fibromyalgia. The three primary pathways of toxins entering the body from the outside are the gut, the skin, and the lungs. But the major source of toxins is stress. This is due to the acidity that stress causes in the body, as explained in the 7 Steps to Healing. Common causes of stress are stressful childhood experiences, such as fear of or actual physical abuse, chronic illness, or even maternal stress while the baby is still in utero. But the most common stressful childhood experience is childhood sexual abuse. This is the biggest unacknowledged epidemic known to man. 40% of all women in the United States have been sexually abused. Sexual abuse is the most common cause of fibromyalgia in women over 40. In the younger population, other causes of toxicity like diet are becoming more common. Diet creates acidity, like sugar and other simple carbs, as well as bringing in toxins through processed food. Another cause of fibromyalgia is conventional medical practices. The first is fever-reducing medicines, such as Tylenol, ibuprofen, Aleve, etc. You see, fever has a purpose. It destroys or cooks the viruses and bacteria that are present during a disease and helps the body break down toxins for easier removal. To be effective, fever should be greater than 102 degrees. We have been over-medicating fevers for the last 100 years and for no proven reason, just convention. Other conventional medical practices cause fibromyalgia. One is the indiscriminate and too often use of antibiotics, and the indiscriminate use of pharmaceuticals, period. Now I'm briefly going to name the common characteristics of people with fibromyalgia, women especially. Not everyone with fibromyalgia have these characteristics, but they are very common, and they are discussed in much more detail in the DVD. First, extreme thinness. This is the standard physical characteristic of the fibromyalgia woman, opposite what conventional medicine states without any proof or scientific evidence. Low blood pressure, usually 90 to 110 systolic, 50 to 60 diastolic. Low body temperature, usually 96 to 97 degrees Fahrenheit. People with fibro are considered lazy because they are so drained of energy that they have difficulty doing normal daily activities. But they are actually workaholics. In some cases, that is what brought the fibro on. They keep a list of things they need to do, and on good days they do as many things on the list as they possibly can. And then they pay for it being in bed for sometimes days. Fibromyalgial people have what is called brain fog. This involves poor short-term memory and simply feeling out of it. They have every cleaning product known to man in their house, and they clean religiously. They have every cream and lotion known to man in their bathroom. Other characteristics are described in the DVD. What do all of these habits do? They add toxins to the body. So, now that you've got it, how do you get rid of it? The good news is that through the 7 steps to healing, fibromyalgia can be cured, but it requires a change in lifestyle and a new philosophy. But there are also some characteristics of fibromyalgia people that block successful cure. These are discussed on the DVD, as well as how to treat those self-defeating characteristics. To understand that behavior, you have to understand what you are dealing with. A person usually has fibromyalgia for 5 to 8 years before it is even diagnosed, and the toxins have been accumulating for 10 to 20 years. Even if you were able to remove toxins at the rate they were accumulated, it would take as many years to cleanse. As a rule, a person with fibromyalgia does require 12 to 18 months of cleansing using the 7 steps to healing. But can fibromyalgia be cured? You bet it can. The answer is the 7 steps to healing. I have a complete DVD on the 7 steps, so I won't be going into those in detail here because we don't have the time. But here are the 7 steps. 1. Eliminate roadblocks and environmental toxins. 2. Open the organs of cleansing. 3. Restore the enzyme systems. 4. Remove the toxins. 5. Remove the dysbiosis. 6. Tonify the chi. 7. Nutritional support. But for the fibromyalgia person, I recommend a couple of things before even beginning the 7 steps because of their subconscious self-sabotage. They should address the possible psychological block to healing, but I don't recommend using conventional medical methods to do that. You see, conventional psychological counseling is like stirring up old dog poop, and it doesn't smell any better the second time around. There are also physical problems with fibromyalgia that need treatment prior to starting the 7 steps, of which the primary physical problem is sleep. Sleep involves several stages as shown in this diagram. There are 5 stages of sleep. Stage 1 is light sleep. Stage 2 a little deeper. Stage 3 deeper yet. And stage 4 deeper yet. Rapid eye movement, REM or REM sleep, is the stage of sleep in which we dream. Patients with fibromyalgia are sorely deficient in stage 4 sleep, the restorative sleep. So if the person is woken up in the first 3 to 4 hours of sleep with pain, etc., the sleep is non-restorative. It is critical that people with fibromyalgia get at least 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and 6 to 8 hours is better. The second most important task, therefore, after the psychological block to healing, is to restore proper sleep. Use whatever mineral, herb, or pharmaceutical that works, except benzodiazepines. I go through multiple remedies to use to help sleep on the DVD. Start with 1 and add additional remedies 1 per week until proper sleep is restored. Then, as you cleanse and heal, start taking away the remedies 1 at a time over long intervals, and eventually you won't need any. Sleep, as so many biological processes, is hormonally driven. The 2 primary hormones for sleep are melatonin and serotonin. Melatonin's job is to regulate the body's sleep-wake cycle. Both melatonin and serotonin are decreased in the body due to conventional practices people are even unaware of. And taking hormones as a supplement isn't all that helpful because most of them are broken down by digestion and don't get absorbed. So you have to help the body produce the hormones. Individuals with fibromyalgia have low levels of serotonin. You need a good deal of serotonin before you can consistently go into deep restorative sleep each night. If you don't have enough serotonin, you won't be able to get into that deep state and won't make more serotonin. That brings up the SSRIs. SSRI stands for Selective Serotonin Re-uptake Inhibitors and include Prozac, Paxil, Celexa, Lexapro, Zoloft, and more. SSRIs are supposed to help people hang on to and use their naturally occurring stores of serotonin. Unfortunately, most people with fibromyalgia don't have any serotonin, so there is nothing to reuptake. You therefore need to know how to increase your serotonin levels. And that brings up the necessary amino acids for sleep: tryptophan, 5-HTP, and glutamine. In the formation of serotonin, tryptophan is converted to the amino acid 5-HTP, which then produces serotonin. 5-HTP also increases melatonin levels. Now, there are many homeopathic remedies for insomnia, but for the best choice for your type, you should consult a homeopathic physician. And finally, a remedy for energy. It is my theory that the toxicity in the cells attacks the ability of the mitochondria in the cell to make ATP, the energy molecule. A person can take D-ribose sugar to provide the body with the building blocks for ATP without the body having to convert glucose to ribose. But keep in mind, this is simply symptom relief, not cure. To cure fibromyalgia, once those basics are in place, then work on the 7 steps to healing. Eliminate roadblocks and environmental toxins, open the organs of cleansing, restore the enzyme systems, remove the toxins, remove the dysbiosis, tonify the chi, and provide nutritional support. There are additional cleansing techniques that will help remove toxins from the body. I go over these in more detail in the DVD because the treatment for fibromyalgia can take up to 2 years, and these methods can help speed the process up. They are dry skin brushing, foot detox, castor oil packs, massage, Epsom salt baths, sauna, and mild exercise. And lastly, but probably the most difficult, is to determine and minimize your sources of stress. Due to the tremendous amount of new information about fibromyalgia, this presentation just hits on the high points in the time allowed. For more complete information, I recommend that you get my DVD on fibromyalgia, which you can then repeat as often as necessary to learn the truth. But in order to cure fibromyalgia, you need the following detailed instructional sources: the DVD called Fibromyalgia, the DVD The 7 Steps to Healing, and the DVD Nutrition for Healing. As a thank you for attending, and I hope you become a subscriber to my YouTube presentations, I am offering this 3-disc package to you at fantastic savings. You will get Fibromyalgia, The 7 Steps to Healing, and Nutrition for Healing for only $87. That is getting 3 valuable DVDs for less than the price of 2. Just go on the website to the Fibromyalgia combo, and when you place your order, use coupon code YouTube. Other DVDs you might be interested in getting if you haven't already are The Real Cause of Drug Abuse, The 7 Steps to Healing, Nutrition for Healing, Prolotherapy, Homeopathy, Auricular Therapy, and The 7 Pillars of Health. These DVDs and others are or will be available on my website. So thank you again for your time, and I wish you good health and good healing.